The Rachel Hollis Podcast is proudly sponsored by Amica Insurance. As Amica says, empathy is our best policy. That's why they'll go above and beyond to tailor your insurance coverage to best fit your needs. Whether you're on the road, at home, or traveling along life's journey, their friendly and knowledgeable representatives will work with you to ensure that you have the right coverage in place. Amica will provide you with peace of mind. Go to amica.com to get a quote today. DirecTV is a better way to watch whatever you want to watch. We all know the frustration and confusion that comes from endlessly scrolling, trying to find your favorite shows. DirecTV brings together your live TV and apps into one home screen, helping you avoid the hassle of plugging in passwords again and again or wasting time searching for what to watch across platforms. With DirecTV, you spend more time watching and less time searching for your show. Sign up for DirecTV today at directtv.com. Can you pre-cut? Can you wash things in advance? Can you meal plan for the week so you know exactly what's going to happen on which day? Can you divide and conquer? Is there another adult in the house that you can be like, hey, bro, you're on Tuesday. Like you're handling dinner on Tuesday and Friday. I'm going to do the other days. Do you have a teenager? Because can you designate a teenager like, guess what? You are now in charge of dinner on Wednesday. And by the way, be okay with whatever that kid decides to make for the family because you didn't have to do it. Yes, your 16-year-old made mac and cheese, or yes, your 16-year-old made quesadillas, but you didn't have to feed people. So be super grateful for the help because it allowed you to have a little space in your week where maybe you didn't have that before. The more that you can figure out things in advance, the more that you can look at the week ahead and know, oh shoot, I've got this on this day and this on this day, the better setup you're gonna be so you don't sabotage yourself in the moment. Hey guys, it's Rach. Welcome to the show. I'm so glad that you're here with us today. And I have a favor, which sounds kind of harsh if we just met, but I'm assuming that most of you have been a part of this community for a hot minute. And so I gotta ask, are you subscribed to the podcast? Subscribing to the podcast you listen to regularly is one of the best things that you can do for hosts like me. It helps to support the show and the staff that works on it. It ensures that you never miss an episode when we drop a new one. And here's the cool thing about subscribing. If you do it and then you hate this show, just unsubscribe. It's one click away. In the meantime, if you're listening, we would so appreciate it if you would just tap that button and make it official. Hi guys, it's Rach. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. I'm glad that you're here. I'm going to tell you that it is the first sunny day that we've had in Los Angeles in over a week. So I am feeling just so happy to have some sunshine. I am like a mole person when it's raining outside, and I'm just so grateful. I'm looking out my studio window right now. Jeffrey, who is my miniature schnauzer, if you're not familiar with his work, he is sitting on the patio looking like a magazine shoot, just soaking up the sun. He's so happy. He is projecting the way that I'm feeling right now. So Jeff and I are both having a great day to come in and record this episode for you that I really hope you guys are going to love because it was inspired by my very real life. And if I'm being super specific, this episode was inspired by toilet paper. I know, that is random, but very true. This episode idea came to me, sorry for the information, but while I was peeing. I was sitting on the toilet and I was peeing and I looked over, and to the right of my toilet is this really beautiful basket holding toilet paper. And I was like, I really like that basket. And I really like that it's there holding toilet paper. And then I thought, and please please don't roll your eyes at this thought if it's ridiculous to you. Just like go with me for a second. I thought, I wonder if everybody organizes their house the way that I do. Of course, the answer is no. There's no way that you could. I wonder if some of the ways I organize my house might be helpful to you who is listening. Because if you're like me, you are always down to hear ideas about how to do something better. Like those are my favorite things to read about in magazines, or when I see them on social. It's like my favorite thing when someone's like, here's a hack for the kitchen, or here's a way to organize your pantry. I love it. The toilet paper in the beautiful basket gave me the thought that I do have a bunch of practices about organizing my home, and not just organizing it, but also doing it in a way that I think sets me and my family up for success. If you're not familiar with my family structure, I have 4 kids. The 2 oldest are 18 and 16, so they have schedules that are even more intense than mine. I've got my 3rd son in middle school and my daughter in elementary school. Both my husband and I work from home when he's in town. He works in the music industry, so he sometimes leaves town for a while, and then it's me sort of manning the fort by myself. All of that to say, there is a lot of moving parts in our home. We are eating a lot. We have a lot of groceries. We are just day by day. There's a very intense schedule. And I feel like I've learned a lot of helpful ways of doing things over the last 18 years of being a mama. And I thought I'd share them today. I thought that maybe they'd be helpful for you. You can take one. You can try it out this week. You could share this with a friend if you feel like they might find some help in it. But that is the intention for today. Yeah, I think I've got some ideas on how to set yourself up for success, regardless of what your family structure looks like, or even if you're single, ready to mingle, living on your own, and you just want to be more efficient. That is the intention of today's episode. Let's start with kind of my overarching idea for everything I'm going to share today, which is your home should work for you, not against you. Your home should work for you, not against you. And it's worth saying that I think organization and efficiency and setting yourself up for success, those are learned skills. Yes, there are certain people who really gravitate toward being very efficient, having all of their I's dotted and their T's crossed, and they want it to be done in a certain way. But even if that's not something you currently possess, that is a skill you can acquire. I don't think I was naturally this way as a young mother. I think I have had to learn to be this way as a very busy working parent with 4 children. I feel like if I can do it, you can do it. It's just about being strategic with the way that you do things. Now, ironically or not, when I started as a blogger back in 2008, my tagline for the site was a better life in simple, achievable steps. And I love the fact that I can see that tagline show up in everything I've done in my career, whether it was Girl Wash Your Face or this podcast, or back in the day when I used to do casserole recipes. The intention was always sharing ideas that have been helpful for me and sharing them in a way that I hope felt simple and felt achievable for whoever was listening to it. And when I say a better life, I don't mean that my life is better. I mean that everyone should strive to feel better in their life and about their life. I believe that. I believe as human beings, we're not always going to have every part of our life feel great. There's lots of parts of every day that aren't that fun. Sitting in traffic after dropping my daughter off at school, that sucks, right? Having to clean up a mess that your kid made. You have a toddler and they pooped their pants and they wiped it all over your walls or whatever. Like, that's not your favorite part of the day. Lots of things happen in our life, or even in seasons. If you're going through a hard season, if someone you love is sick, if you're sick, if you're trying to go back to therapy and unpack some trauma, like, not every part of our life is going to feel good. But I believe that we are here on this planet to try and live life as well as we can. And I hope that as we acquire new information, new ideas, new skills, that then our life becomes better as a result. Not just because we have the knowledge, but because we apply the knowledge. There's that old expression, knowledge is power. I've been really blessed in my life in having a mentor in John Maxwell. One of the first times I got to hear John speak live, I heard him say, knowledge isn't power. And I was like, wait, what? Because everyone's heard that knowledge is power. And he said, no. Knowledge isn't power. Applied knowledge is power. It's not enough to have ideas about what we can do. We actually have to do them. So I'm hoping that if I give you a bunch of different ideas today, you can try at least one. So I'm going to stop blabbering, or not, because this is a podcast. That's what I do. I'm going to stop setting you up and actually just jump into some of the ideas I think will be helpful. Number one, let's start with mindset, because everything is mindset. Even if we're talking about getting organized, if we're talking about our home, or if we're talking about taking better care of ourselves or taking better care of our family, it's all going to be a mindset shift if that's not something you feel like you are currently knocking out of the park. And here's the mindset shift I want you to consider. Current you versus future you. I have been marinating in this a lot. I wrote about it in the new book. I'm sure I've talked to you guys about it in episodes of the show lately, but I saw a video on social media that perfectly summed up this concept for me. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm not crazy to think of like current me versus future me. So it was a video, this woman came on and she said, it was sort of like jokey, like as if she was gossiping with us about someone in her life. And she's like, hey, can I tell you something? Late night me is an absolute biatch to morning me. She was like, late night me does not care at all about morning me. Late night me, she's going to stay up for hours watching TV. She doesn't care that morning me has to get up and go to work. Late night me is going to drink more than I should. She doesn't care that morning me is going to feel hungover. She was joking, but she was saying all of these things that she does at night that end up messing her up the next day. And the whole thing was meant to be funny, but I actually just thought, my gosh, that's exactly what I'm talking about when I talk about current me versus future me. Now, oftentimes, if you've read my books, you know that I love this idea of imagining ourselves 10 years in the future. Like imagining the most ideal version of yourself, who you're going to be 10 years from now, what's she going to look like, what's he going to look like. You've heard me talk about this a ton. That's actually not what I'm referring to in this instance. When you're thinking about setting up your life, I mean your day-to-day life in a better way, I want you to think of current you versus future you being like tomorrow, future you being like the weekend. Let's bring this more into the immediate, because that is actually going to help you a ton. Current me versus future me is essential because I am often most tired in the moments that are the best opportunity to set up tomorrow in a way that feels better. Sit with that for a second, because I'm going to assume this is most of us. Setting myself up for success tomorrow is usually something that happens in the evening today. For example, when I wrap up my work for the day, I'm going to go in to the house because I work in a studio in my backyard. So I'm going to go in and it's going to be 5 o'clock. That is when the babysitter leaves for the day. 5 o'clock, I punch my time clock of mom mode and I'm going to be making dinner. A few things are going to happen right then. At 5 o'clock, it is when I'm most tired. It is when I least would like to cook food. Okay, that's number one. Number two, it is when I most would want to have a glass of wine. It's when I would most want to have some little beverage that's going to give me a transition period from work to mom mode. I want something that's going to make that a bit easier. Let's say on the other side of cooking dinner, putting dinner away, doing the dishes before I go to bed so I wake up and there are no dishes in the sink. Like all the things that would be most helpful to me also happen to fall at a time period when I am most tired, and I am most likely to want to reach for the comfort of the present moment versus the success of me tomorrow. Look, everyone knows that toilet paper is not created equal. Not all rolls are the same. Some are too soft. Some, can we say, sort of crumble, if you know what I'm saying? Then other toilet paper is so strong that it can actually hurt. And let's not even talk about the toilet paper that is so thin, it doesn't get the job done. Angel Soft is soft and strong and always affordable. Come on, life is too short. There's too much going on. I don't want to have to overthink this. So pick up a pack of Angel Soft in the toilet paper aisle of your nearest retailer. That's Angel Soft, soft and strong. Simple. It's 2025, guys. And if you are busy, you're working, you're trying to make great choices for your life, your health, your family, you've got to start using Thrive Market. Thrive Market's products are 100% non-GMO and free from over 1,000 harmful ingredients. So when you're shopping on Thrive, you know that anything you find is going to be good for you and your family. Plus, you can scan a product you're used to buying, something that's in your pantry right now, and the Healthy Swap scanner will instantly recommend cleaner, healthier alternatives. The best part about Thrive, I think, is that you put things on a subscription. So when the pantry starts getting low, all of a sudden in the mail is everything you need to restock for school lunches and after school snacks. It is the best. Ready for a junk-free start to 2025? Head to thrivemarket.com/Rach and you get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/Rach. thrivemarket.com/Rach. If I was a perfect specimen of a human being or perhaps a robot, I would just put my head down and do exactly what I need to do so that I can be the most efficient, so I can set myself up for success tomorrow. But guess what? That is not what real life looks like. So I've had to learn a motivator to get myself through those moments when I would like to choose my current comfort. And my current comfort would look like, let's order takeout. My current comfort would look like, let's make the kids pasta with butter, because I'm too tired to cook the dinner that I said I was going to cook tonight. My current comfort would look like, let's pour a glass of wine, even though I really don't want to be drinking. Let's make these choices that allow me to feel comfortable in this moment, even though if I was going forward into the future, I know that those choices are going to screw me over tomorrow. This future version really has helped me. I don't know if this will click for you guys, but for me, I'm like, nope, because tomorrow morning, I want to feel good. Tomorrow morning, I want to wake up and be set up for success. Tomorrow morning, I want to know that I did a really good job as a mama today. So think of future you and ask, what can I do right now, even though I don't feel like it? What can I do right now that future me is going to wake up and feel relieved about? Future me is going to feel thankful. Future me is going to so appreciate that I set myself up in ways that removed friction tomorrow. Because if we're being honest, the decisions that we make in the current moment for current us and our comfort, they're rarely a craving. Do you know what I mean? For me, it's usually just like a lazy choice in that moment. Like if I'm dying for some delicious curry, I really want a curry. I put out the stuff. I was going to make burgers for the kids tonight, but oh my gosh, I'm really craving curry. I don't have the ingredients. You know what? Let's be indulgent. We're going to order some takeout. We're going to get some delicious Indian food. It's going to be amazing. That was a craving I had, and it felt really awesome in that moment because I was very present in that moment and doing something that felt really good. That's one thing. And it's very different than I'm just don't want to have to cook dinner. You know, a craving is like, oh gosh, I've wanted a beautiful cab. Like it's been raining all week and I'd love a beautiful glass of Cabernet and I'm making pasta and it's going to be a whole thing. That to me is like, I really am intentional about that. It sounds great. I've been thinking about it. That's very different than I feel tired and so I'm going to have a glass of wine because it's a habit. Do you know what I mean? What are you currently doing because of wanting to feel comfortable in this moment that is really setting up who you are tomorrow? You're just setting yourself up for failure. And let me add another element here. Because at the end of the day, you worked your butt off. I don't care what you did. I don't care if you're a stay-at-home mom. I don't care if you are a college student. If you're getting to the end of the day and you're tired because you put in effort and time, you showed up for your freaking life, and then in a state of being tired, when your willpower is gone because you've really worked hard today, you're sabotaging tomorrow. And that's so unfair because who you are today, man, they showed up. They put in their work, they put in their time. And now in this tiny brief window of a couple of hours, it's like another version of us shows up and sort of undoes or sabotages all of our work. Can we just not do that? Can we not do that? Instead, what does it look like to think of tomorrow morning and to make more decisions today based on what we're going to feel like tomorrow morning? So with everything I'm going to talk about, all the ideas I'm going to share today, all of them are based on the idea current me versus future me. And I really would love you to consider a shift. If you are really intentional about something, you really want something, let's lean all the way in to that. It's actually why I'm going to go into just a real slight, I love a slight deviation to our path for 1 second. Let me go on a tiny tangent. It's actually why I love a cheat meal. I know this, you're like, we're supposed to be talking about home. Why are you talking about food? Just hang with me for 1 second. I know a lot of people, they don't like the word cheat meal. They don't like the idea of a cheat meal. If you're not familiar, it's like all week long, you eat in a certain way, you live in a certain way, and then one meal a week, you're very indulgent. I know a lot of people don't like that, whatever. But I actually have always really loved that vibe because I like all week long thinking about something I'd really love to enjoy on the weekend. If you've heard me talk about it, Kez and I do a big family dinner every Saturday. So we will spend sometimes the entire Saturday cooking a meal that we'll sit down as a family, friends come over, neighbors, whatever, and we'll have a big meal on Saturdays. Part of the reason that feels so amazing is because we've spent a week going, ooh, what do we want? What do we want to have on Saturday? That's why we got into making our own pasta, making our own bread, doing all sorts of different cuisines, because we were like, if we're going to eat this, number one, we want to know what's in it. But number two, we want it to be delicious. And if we can make it ourselves, we know it can be really, really good. All of that to say, There's so much dang intention all week long building up to this moment where we just get to have this amazing dinner. I think that indulgences in every area of our life should feel like that. I do. I think if you're like, you know what? I'm gonna literally lay around in my pajamas all day on Saturday. I'm watching a marathon of the new Kate Hudson show on Netflix. I'm ordering Mexican food takeout. I'm wearing fuzzy slippers. I'm giving myself a manicure. I'm just like being a total gremlin on Saturday, and it's going to be amazing. I'm assuming if you're saying that you don't have kids. I love this for you. But there's intention in that. That is very different than, wow, there's a lot of stuff I need to accomplish this weekend. I'm totally going to avoid it. I'm going to be a gremlin. Sunday evening rolls around. I didn't do any of the things that I meant to do, and now I'm behind. I'm going to stop harping on this idea, but I hope that something I said clicked for you. I am here for you living life, for you enjoying, for you being indulgent in whatever way feels good to you with intention. And if it's intentional, I don't know that we can have these big indulgences 7 days a week. You're like, give us the tips. I know, but I just, please, when you hear them and you're like, that feels like a lot of effort, you're right. Let's do the things we need to do. Let's check the boxes. Let's get things done. And then let's really lean all the way into the stuff that feels really good. We're balancing our scale. We're not leaning too hard in either direction. We're really balanced. Hopefully my mindset idea has something's taken hold. You're here for it. Let's talk about some small tweaks that you can make this week that make a big difference. Listeners, NerdWallet wants you to let them do the work for you. Looking for auto insurance? The Nerds will match you with top providers in your area in just a few questions. So getting the right rate for you is as simple as going to nerdwallet.com. After all, letting NerdWallet do the work is more than smart. It's genius. Not all applicants will qualify for the lowest monthly payments. NerdWallet Insurance Services Incorporated. California resident license number OK92033. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Look, going to therapy, it's a big investment. And I'm not talking about money, I'm talking about time and energy and emotions. But if you're going to put this much effort into taking care of your physical health, it stands to reason that you should put just as much effort into making sure your mental health is great too. So let's talk numbers. Traditional in-person therapy can cost anywhere from $100 to $250 per session, and that adds up. But with BetterHelp online therapy, you can save on average up to 50% per session. With BetterHelp, you pay a flat fee for weekly sessions, saving you big on cost and time. Therapy should feel accessible to everyone, not just a luxury. With online therapy, you can get quality care at a price that makes sense. Your well-being is worth it. Visit betterhelp.com/Rach to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Rach. A couple of ways that I stay super organized at home. Number one, buy in bulk. Now, I will add that buying in bulk, buying extra of something is an indulgence and a luxury that not everybody has. But I actually learned this as a child inside of a family that really struggled financially and really struggled with food scarcity at times. And my parents bought in bulk when they had the ability to do so, when things went on sale, when they were able to get dry goods like rice or beans or toilet paper. They would buy extra of those so that we would have them. And that is how I learned to do this. So as much as it is a luxury, I also think it's something that a lot of families that struggle financially, lean into. So I feel like this is advice that is helpful to everybody. But if you have literally more than one kid, I know people who are just a couple who buy in bulk, but if you have more than one kid and there are things that you use all the time that won't go bad, toilet paper, paper towels, like I said, any dry goods, toothpaste, soap, your tampons, like get all of that stuff, get more than you need when you see it go on sale. That's number one. But then set yourself up for success by putting the things you want to use where you use them. This is where the toilet paper in the pretty basket comes into play. And it's all coming back around to the start of our conversation. In every single bathroom in my house, there's a beautiful basket. It's a different basket based on the room and the design of that room, but I have different baskets that hold a bunch of toilet paper. This was something that was established after years of little kids screaming from the bathroom that there was no toilet paper. And then other people, me or their dad, like stopping everything we were doing to go, okay, where's toilet paper? We got to go give it to Jackson. We got to, just make it as easy as possible. So then I started to put, some sort of decorative thing in each bathroom that would hold the teepee. The toilet paper basket refill was the very first chore that every single one of my 4 kids had. It was the chore that started all the chores. When they were very little, I would hand them 3 rolls of toilet paper and say, go put this in the basket in your bathroom. Go fill up mommy's basket. Like I would help them to fill them up, but that was the very first chore they had as part of our family. So highly recommend that one. But putting the basket in the bathroom, putting towels in every single bathroom, putting extras of everything exactly where you're going to need it ensures that you will actually use it. I used to store everything in a pantry or a cabinet. All of our supplies would be in one spot. But then it's harder to get to when you actually need it in the moment. And sometimes I would forget that the thing was there and end up buying a second round, which I hate. I hate having something and not realizing it and not using it up. One of the biggest turn-ons in the entire world to me is using something completely to the bottom of its container, or like using up your leftovers, using up a spice. It is ridiculous how happy it makes me to completely use something. Maybe that's the impetus for this entire episode is I just have weird OCD about using what I've got, but I swear this works. Consider making your life as easy as possible and starting to store things in the room that you will need that thing in. That's bathroom vibes. When we're talking about the kitchen, some of my favorite ways to organize in there, if you've seen me put this on Instagram stories on the weekend, I love a canister. I love buying something in a big giant bag from Costco and then putting it in a canister, putting pasta, beans, rice, oatmeal, lentils, coffee, tea. They're all in glass canisters on my countertop. I tend to be a bit more like a home cook versus a kitchen that's pretty princess. I want things accessible. I want them to look aesthetically pleasing, but I want them out where I will actually use them. If you've got oils, vinegars, spices that are languishing in the back of your cabinet that you are never using, you're never pulling out your sesame oil, you're never using up that chili oil, that you have these really cool things that you don't use, it's because you don't see them. Pull them out and you will actually use them. In the kitchen, how I set myself up for success, I'm all about meal prep. I actually did an email on Sunday, which I'm so pumped you guys loved. I can always tell if you love an email based on how many people open it and how many people click on the link. So Sunday's email was all about how I actually get dinner on the table like my best pieces of advice for meal prepping, for shopping your freezer, for grocery shopping. There is a blog post on all the things on the website. Go check that out. But if you have to cook dinner for other people, you need to go read this post. But at the very least, just know if you're trying to feed other people, the more prep you can do in advance, the better off you're going to be. So that when you go in, if you're like me, if you're coming in at the end of the day, or maybe you're putting the slow cooker on in the morning before you go to work, if you're doing any of that stuff and you're fitting it in between other responsibilities, that's amazing. And it's a lot. That's a lot. So do whatever you can to make that as easy as possible. Can you pre-cut? Can you wash things in advance? Can you meal plan for the week so you know exactly what's going to happen on which day? Can you divide and conquer? Is there another adult in the house that you can be like, hey, bro, you're on Tuesday. Like you're handling dinner on Tuesday and Friday. I'm going to do the other days. Do you have a teenager? Because can you designate a teenager like, guess what? You are now in charge of dinner on Wednesday. And by the way, be okay with whatever that kid decides to make for the family because you didn't have to do it. Yes, your 16-year-old made mac and cheese, or yes, your 16-year-old made quesadillas, but you didn't have to feed people. So be super grateful for the help because it allowed you to have a little space in your week where maybe you didn't have that before. The more that you can figure out things in advance, the more that you can look at the week ahead and know, oh, shoot, I've got this on this day and this on this day, the better setup you're going to be so you don't sabotage yourself in the moment. But here's a great example. Tomorrow night, I'm having dinner with a girlfriend. And I don't often have dinner outside the house, but I'm having dinner tomorrow night. So I know exactly what everyone's eating. I've already planned it. I've already prepped it. It is waiting in the refrigerator right now. So nobody is confused about what they're having for dinner. So I have zero guilt about not being here when these people have burgers tomorrow. Everything that you can do to set yourself up for success, you should try. And you might try things, y'all, and it doesn't work. You don't follow through. It doesn't go the way that you want it to. But just the simple act of trying to lean into that is going to make your mind wake up and pay attention to opportunities where you can get organized in advance. Next piece of advice, have multiples. Now, this is also a luxury. I know not everybody can have multiples of everything, but if possible, make it easier on yourself. When the kids were younger and they were in booster seats, and I would take them to school sometimes, and then their dad would pick them up from school sometimes, and we would have like a babysitter. And have you ever done that thing where you're like changing the car seat or the booster seat from one car to another, and it is so freaking annoying? Those are moments of tension in your life and your week that you can solve if you have a little ingenuity and a little extra money. For instance, what does it look like to go on Facebook Marketplace and get a booster seat in your kid's size? Most people give those away. They're not trying to sell them. They're just like, come get this Cheerio stained booster seat. If you want to pick it up, it's yours. Or you can get it at the Goodwill, or you can get them on eBay. What does it look like to spend a little time getting yourself a second option of something that's causing you annoyance in your life? That's like on a big scale. On a small scale, it looks like hand lotion. Fun fact, I am a weirdo about putting hand lotion on. I hate having dry hands, so I put hand lotion on, 6 times a day. I have hand lotion in every single one of my purses, in the center console of my car, in my kid's car. Like, if there is a spot that I ever am at where I need lotion, it exists in that space. Same with gum. Love gum. I have gum in all the places. I'm not taking items out of one container and putting them into another. That's too much for me to think about. So again, just look for like, oh, my favorite brand of lotion is on sale, or packs of gum are 2 for 1 right now. So I'm going to grab 2 and then put them in two different places so I don't have to think and I don't have to transition. Again, everything for me is about how do I set myself up for success. That's like the theme. I'm now realizing in this exact moment that I have so many ideas here. I'm a little worried that I'm word vomiting on you guys. I sure hope I'm not. I hope that you're with me and this is helpful. But we're already here. The train has left the station. It is barreling down the track. So I'm just going to keep going with this word vomit of ideas. Man, I sure hope they're doing something for you. Okay. So that was just like a different parts of my house ideas for ways that I organize or things that I do to try and make it easier. My next piece of advice, and I'm going to say some brands, and this is going to sound like an ad, and it is not. This is not an ad. Nobody is paying me to say this. This is your girl, Rach, from me to you, telling you what I do to make it as easy as possible to exist. Automate everything. Automate whatever you can. And when I say automate, I mean specifically grocery shopping and pantry essentials. So I'm going to tell you what that looks like in two different ways. The pantry essentials that we go through most are snacks that my kids take for lunch every single day, because the little kids have snacks in their lunchbox, and then they also have snacks that they eat at recess or when they're in the car on the way home from school. So I pack those up in their backpacks in the morning. We go through a lot of snacks because then the teenagers grab them and go. Like, we just always have a ton. You have heard me talk about Thrive Market a ton here on the show. They're an advertising partner for a long time. Thrive Market, I know. See, I told you this sounds like an ad. It's not. Thrive is awesome because you can automate the delivery of snacks, and I love them because anything that you find on that site is going to be really good. Like, I'm not worried about any of the ingredients. I've got my favorites. They're on a plan, and I have set it up so that at the same time every month, the same stuff gets delivered. That looks like, I'll just tell you, we always have Pirate Booty. We always have is it called Smart Pop? You know, the popcorn. You know what I'm talking about. Smart, skinny, something. See, not an ad because I don't know what they're called. So we always have Pirate Booty. We always have popcorn. We always have bags of nuts and almonds. We always have venison jerky. We have plantain chips. So there's a handful of these snacks that I feel good about, and I just have them on a schedule. Same with dog food, same with the delivery of meat. Like, if there is a way to do a subscription, I am doing it. And I pay a lot of attention in the first few months of a subscription to make sure that we're not getting too much or too little. It is such a game changer, you guys. I cannot stress to you enough. It's one of those things that takes a minute to set up, but then once it's going, it is so helpful because you're never running out of juice boxes or LaCroix or anything you need for your house. So I love restocking the pantry. And then the other thing, I know not everybody has this in their city, but if you can get groceries delivered, holy crap, this is a freaking game changer. Oh my gosh. I don't know why it took me this long to realize that the Amazon app, you can order Whole Foods to be delivered. Whole Foods is where I grocery shop. And I think they have other grocery stores on there as well. But it's amazing because I live in LA. I can place an order. I did it this morning. I placed an order on Whole Foods through Amazon. That order was placed at 9 a.m. I paused the podcast about 10 minutes ago because I got an alert that my groceries had been delivered. And I went in the house in the middle of recording this for you. And I put the groceries away. And then I came back and now I'm finishing. But first of all, just not having to go to the grocery store is amazing. Sometimes I like it on a Saturday. If I'm going to, cook something really great for dinner, I want to go look at the cut of beef. I want to go look at the vegetables. I want to squeeze the tomatoes. I want to know. Sometimes I do that. But most times, day in, day out, I need to grocery shop at least twice a week to feed 4 kids. To have the ability to have them delivered, oh my God, is so helpful. Now let me blow your mind because I also realized something amazing. I used to keep my grocery list on a note in my phone, and it was a shared note. Kez has it and the 2 teenagers had it. And the rule was like, if you need something, just put it on this list. We'll make sure we get it. You know what I started doing? No more note on my phone. I just started going directly into the app. And right then when I run out of something, I just put it into the app and it saves it in a little cart for you until you're ready to check out. Now let me go one step further. See, this whole thing sounds like an ad. It's not. I swear, you guys. You can just tell Alexa to add the thing that you want to add. You just tell her. Because if you shop at the same grocery store over and over, it knows the exact brand of bagels that you want. And it knows the exact spice that you're looking for. So I'll be like, Alexa, add dried oregano to my Whole Foods list. And she's like, I got you, girl. Like, it's there. It's so, oh my gosh. Sorry. I'm gushing. I'm so grateful for this, especially when Kez is out of town and it's just me and I'm like trying to navigate all the things. As much as possible, I try and make my life as easy as possible because the reality is, even with all of the support, even with all of the help, even with people delivering my groceries to the door, it's still a lot and it's still hard. So everywhere that I can, I want to automate and just make it super easy. Lots of ideas I have thrown up on you today. But I do want to talk about how you can actually start to incorporate some of these ideas into your life without having to spend money. It is very easy to get excited about organization or setting yourself up, and then you're like, let me go, shopping for a bunch of stuff or figure things out. Start with what you have. Go through your cabinets right now. Go into your garage. Go see if you don't already have some bins and some baskets and some jars that you can use to get organized. Start with just one area of your house. And y'all have heard me say this a million times. If you're not sure where to start, begin with an area that feels really tense. What is an area of your life? I mean, what is a part of your day that just feels hard? For example, my entryway is constantly a battle. There are 1 million shoes because we don't wear shoes in our house. So like you come in, all the kids just leave their shoes in the middle of the entryway. They were dropping their backpacks. They're just leaving their stuff as soon as they walked in the house, just making a mess. It was driving me insane. And every day I'd be like, go put your backpack in your room and like da-da-da. It was like a whole thing. And I see moments like that. And I see tension like that as an opportunity to put a process in place that sets them up for success and sets it up so that I'm not nagging them. Whenever possible, I want my kids to be able to figure it out on their own and not get to the place where I have to remind them for the millionth time. So I spent an hour several months ago organizing our entryway closet. Our entryway closet was just filled with everything you can possibly imagine. No organization, not really utilizing it in any great way, but I cleaned it out. There are shelves in there. So once I cleaned the shelves off, I took some washi tape and I labeled Sawyer, Ford, Noah, Jackson. And now there was a shelf for each kid. And then I was like, as soon as you walk in the door, do not pass go, do not collect $200. Take your backpack and your shoes off and put them on your shelf. And it worked. And suddenly the entryway is clean. And suddenly I'm not frustrated. I'm not even thinking about it anymore. And then once that was established, when I was doing lunches in the morning, I would go into the closet and I would get their lunch boxes. And then I realized, oh, dang, this doesn't work because their lunchbox is kind of filled with stuff and maybe it smells a little bit. If it was a Friday when they put it in there and I'm not making lunch till Monday morning, now we've got, a smelly situation on our hands. So then the new tweak was you're going to come in, you're going to take your shoes off, you're going to put your backpack in there. And then before you close that closet door, you're going to remove your lunchbox, walk it to the kitchen. You're going to take everything out of your lunchbox, throw away the trash, put any containers in the dishwasher, and then put your lunchbox in this specific spot. So it starts by trying just one thing, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work, and then adjusting as you go. But even with that path I just told you guys about, that was to solve one teensy tiny area in my home, the entryway. And it took a plan, and then it took adjusting the plan, and then it took guardrails for the kids so that they could follow the process I had set out. That's just one area. Our lives are very full. There's all sorts of areas of tension, I'm sure, that you can think of right now. So don't freak yourself out with having to take it all on. Just think of one spot in your house or one part of your day that feels hard, and then ask, like, okay, how could I set myself up for success so that doesn't happen? I mean, honestly, I could come up with a million ideas of, well, you could try this and you could try that, but it really begins with your life. What works for you, what doesn't work for you, what feels really good or doesn't. But can you just hold space for the idea that when we are more intentional about our homes, when we're more intentional about how we set up our day, how we set up our life, and our willingness to push through sort of the slump moments, the moments when we're tired, the moments when we want to reach for what feels really good right now, if we can push through those and stay in this mode of like intentionality, figuring out a plan, trying to make better choices, it really does create the most incredible momentum that starts to feel really good. Before I wrap up today, I want to just say, I don't think there's any one way for your home to look. I don't think that one style is better than another. I don't think you need a fancy house. You could have literally an apartment. You can have a one-room studio. You can rent a room in someone else's house. But whatever you think of as your home, it's really, really important that that home works with you. I heard Oprah say once that our home should rise up to meet us. And that doesn't just mean in terms of comfort or the vibe, though you know I love a good vibe. It's also about, how does this space work to help you live the life you want to live today and set you up for where you want to go tomorrow? A little intention that you practice now can send you miles down the road later. So consider it as you head into the week. I hope something I said in this sort of brain dump word vomit podcast was helpful. And if you liked anything about it and you know someone that you think would like it too, please consider sharing. If you like conversations about home, intentionality, wellness, any of that kind of stuff, please make sure you are subscribed to the Sunday email. I put so much time and effort into those. I'm really proud of them. They're essentially like a article or a blog post. I try and give you as much info as possible. So sign up through the link in show notes if you're not already there. You can always check out, we have thousands of blog posts on the website, MsRachelHollis.com. I will be back tomorrow with more conversation, hopefully a little bit more formal structure so it's not so brain dump on you guys. But gosh, I hope something I shared today was helpful and that you'll try it out at home this week. Until next time, as always, I love you and I'm rooting for you. The Rachel Hollis Podcast is produced by me, Rachel Hollis. It's edited by Andrew Weller and Jack Noble. There's a revolutionary bra brand so confident it will change your life, they let you wear it risk-free for 60 days. Evelyn and Bobby is changing the game with their patented wireless replacement designed to support, smooth, and flatter an inclusive range of bodies up to a K-cup. Wear it, wash it, put it to the test. If it's not the most comfortable, supportive, and flattering bra you've ever worn, you'll get your money back. no questions asked. Go to evelynbobby.com/Rachel for $20 off your first bra. It's time to play ball. My son has been working with his baseball team since the fall, and we are officially in baseball season. So if you're a mama like me and you got to stock up on all the sporting gear, now is the time. Academy Sports and Outdoors has the gear that you need, and you can bring it home for less. Gear up for baseball, softball, and t-ball with essentials from Easton, Rawlings, and Wilson at Academy. Academy offers free 1-hour in-store or curbside pickup if you're like me and you forgot to get the equipment in time. Swing by your local store or shop academy.com today and get ready to hit it out of the park.